Yo, what is good, everybody? I hope you all made some good money today. If you showed with me yesterday, you should be up good because we just rode that out the entire day. The market fell all day, and now we're just gonna take a look at where we're at and what we expect to happen from here. So we're just gonna get into it. Make sure to show the video some love, give it a like and subscribe. And let's get into it. So start off, we got oil here. We said oil was gonna drop. It was just way too overextended, and it got a very nice drop. Now this is unfortunate because I was up pretty late last night and I didn't wake up very early, so I completely missed the short entry, which is really disappointing because I was waiting to short this for quite a while, um, and I missed it. That's a like $4,000 move right here in futures, so really disappointing. But I guess you can't get them all. But yeah, we were looking for oil to drop, and now I think what we could be looking at could be something like this. We get a nice bounce and then we go lower. That kind of ABC structure, that corrective structure. But for now, I think the line to keep an eye on is this line right here. We're going to see if we can hold it as support or not. If we can't hold it as support, well, it can come down pretty fast and pretty hard. So you can see right here, we kind of squeezed through that region pretty quickly. So, like I said in yesterday's video, we could come all the way back down here if it wants to really test this region right here. So I think that would take a couple days at the least. It would probably line up with hitting this trend line at the same time just because that's a pretty strong support. So we'll see what oil does over the next few hours, next 2 days I think specifically. Um, it's got a lot of room to go down. It went up really fast, really hard, no relief on the way up, so there's definitely a lot more room to come down. Natural gas here. So natural gas, in yesterday's video I explained that how I utilized cycle analysis and Elliott wave, and cycle analysis is pointing to this being just in a very weak phase here. And you can see that it just only goes down. It's kind of dumb, just no relief at all. It looks very almost like a programmed drop, like just really perfect. And so I think it's just smart to be patient with this one. This phase of weakness ends going into February, and we don't have that long until then. So I'm going to see what I want to do for the next few weeks. We're going to keep an eye on it. My target was that 1.618, 3.43 around that region, and we're going a little underneath it. So the past time it's held, it bounced off of it, but we're underneath it. So this could be an overshoot. We have divergences, some pretty big ones too. So we'll have to see what I want to do. Yeah, we're just going to be keeping an eye on this one. DXY, not too much to say here. It hasn't really been telling us a whole lot, so there isn't too much point in really, I guess, analyzing this, but we were talking about this zone here. Whichever side it breaks, if it breaks up to the upside and then comes back and retests. So I threw this yesterday. I think we were like right here or something. I said if you want this to go up, you want it to hold this level right here where you see all these previous wicks. That's resistance. You want it to come back down, stay above resistance, and then go up, and then vice versa to the downside. So probably hit this line and then continue lower. But it didn't do either of those. It returned right back into the middle. So again, I think it's just back to watching. Apple, we got above that 135 level, which is very interesting here. You fill this gap, you got that gap up here, and what do you know? You got rejected at that trend line. So this trend line has proved to be impossible to break so far. I think there's a pretty good chance it could break out to the upside and potentially get to fill that gap, and that would result in SPY pushing to probably like 420, 430, even up to 440. So I've been saying that for months, okay? I've been saying that for months. It's been a process. Nothing goes straight up, nothing goes straight down. So Apple here rejected at that trend line. Now we just have to see, is this line gonna hold? Because that's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough to hold considering how much we moved up, and that's just not a lot of relief. So we'll see. Coming down out of that overbought territory, yeah, we'll see if it can hold that support or not. So Tesla, it pushed up almost. It kind of got into that supply zone here. I've been saying we're gonna get back up here, test that supply zone, um, and I think we got really close to it. We were kind of testing the bottom of it actually. As you can see right here, you can see that wick. That is right here. So you're pushing up into that supply zone. We've been targeting this area for a couple weeks now. You got gap to the downside, so these could get filled. I'm not exactly looking for major upside yet now, but this is the big resistance here. This is going to be an issue to get over, as that was a major support. It was a major trend line, I guess, because it only held once, but that is a pretty major trend line. So we'll see what it does around here. I would like to see what it does tomorrow and Friday. I think that could give us some better hints where Tesla wants to go on more of a macro scale. Amazon, not too much to say. We were looking for that breakout. You got some gaps here, so might want to breathe a little because that was an iceberg. So not too much to say for Amazon here. I'm looking at that 110 to 105 gap, but we'll see if it wants a breath or not. Labuse. So we said this is probably going to come back down just because of this range here. You have a gap here and a gap above. Another thing to watch is XBI. So that's what these two ETFs move off of. So in this case, that was LabD was the one to buy, and it's not really up too much so far, but I guess it is. I keep forgetting these ETFs move a lot just because the leverage. So even though it looked kind of like a small move, 15% or whatever that was, that's not that small of a move, to be honest. So yeah, if this range continues to stay consistent, there is a lot of room for this to go. So XBI, it squeezed up pretty hard, filled that gap, hit this resistance trend line, so there's room to come down still. We'll see what that does over the next few days, but the big one I'm really watching, and what I got into today, was SOXS, because I've been waiting to get into this since last week, and let me take this off quick, give me a second. So we talked about how we're at this trend line right here. That's a pretty big resistance, as well as this trend line here. So these are kind of like, if we went over this pretty well, but I don't think we can really say we've broken above it yet, just because, I don't know, we need to test it. We haven't tested it yet, so I would like to see how it interacts with this trend line, but that's not a lot of relief. So I don't think it can hold this and then keep going higher. It doesn't look very plausible to me. I think it might just come crashing back down, at least fill this gap right here. And you do have a couple more gaps below. So you got a big gap down here. So in the longer run, you might be coming a lot lower, and I think that's really, really likely, considering the market's not done dropping yet. SPY should be heading towards 300 in the coming months, so that would result in this coming down a lot, and SOXS doing another major run to fill these gaps up here. So yesterday we took a look at that. That's over 100%. Don't sleep on these ETFs. They make you a lot of money if you can trade them right. So yesterday's video, I talked about how I think, so the best thing to do, so I said how I was going to trade this. I said I wanted to buy this as low as I could to this bottom with a stop loss a little bit below this, because I said it's probably going to do something like this, where it overshoots that previous low and then shoots back up. And it overshot this previous low by a couple cents. Yeah, it overshot that previous low by 7 cents and then bounced right back up. And so far, it's up like $2, and just using that ruler, that's like, give me a second, 7%. So that is nowhere near the kind of move I'm looking for. Just kind of pointing out that it's up 7% from that low. So, with these ETF, that's not that much, considering, this thing, I'm telling you, this thing moves a lot, really, really fast. So, yeah, I don't think it's really moved up yet. You got a gap right here that should act as an incentive. And SOXL, we've been tracking the wave structure on this. So, theoretically, it should be correcting soon. Now this is a little awkward because with the way this is being drawn out right now, uh, wave 3 is the longest, and wave 5 is the longest in this one. So that's not like impossible. Extended fifth waves are a thing. It's just uncommon. So we'll see how it goes. This is looking ready to correct though, just given everything we're kind of looking at. This resistance, it needs to test this at least, and it probably won't hold it because it's just moved up so much. You add this resistance, you got these 5 waves up here, which it's a little extended, but still looks like it. So we'll see what one wants to do. I would like to see this line get reclaimed pretty soon because I don't like being under this for too long. So we'll see where this is tomorrow and Friday. Now the VIX, not really anything too interesting to see here. We've been talking about how it's really important for what happens once you get past the apex. So very interesting spot here. It looks like it's broken down so far at least, but I'm not completely set on that yet. I do think this could be quite a big trap and potentially, VIX starts to rocket to the upside. So we fill that gap. We do have this gap now. We'll have to see if that gets filled. Those VIX gaps really like to get filled pretty soon, so we'll see. Don't leave it out of the picture that the VIX can just start rocketing up, because that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. I just don't know if it's time for that to happen yet, but I do think it's coming. So we'll see. Also, another thing, kind of interesting, that trend line we drew yesterday, this one right here, we kind of held that. We bounced off of it. You can see we whipped it, and we bounced. So interesting to see that twin line holding. That could be the support that we don't go back underneath. There is that gap though, so maybe you get some kind of candle that looks like this, right back up. We'll be keeping an eye on the VIX. SPY. So we finally got that drop we were looking for. I said this in yesterday's video. It's going to drop like very soon, and that's what happened. It took a long time. It was just creating supports out of thin air basically, but we finally got that drop. So nothing surprising at all. Another thing to note, so there's very little structure, right? That's because when you break out of a wedge structure that looks like this, a wedge, this is what a wedge looks like. It's like this, kind of like this triangle thing, and you get these divergences where we're going to take a look at the MACD and the RSI. So you get divergences here. The momentum is slowing at a very, just at a very consistent rate. Lower highs on the MACD, lower highs on the RSI. Slowing momentum is what it is while the price is still going. And that's exactly what a wedge looks like. And that's what you got. So once you get that breakdown, there's very little structure. There's not a lot of waves. There's no bounces on the way down. And same thing for falling wedges. Where the price is, it's chopping in this, and then it's a very powerful bounce with, no pullbacks. So that's how a wedge works. My dogs are barking a little, excuse them. So there's not too much to say. We're going to see if we get continuation. We could be looking at some sort of an ABC structure like this. And ultimately, we're really going to be keeping an eye on the support region right here. You got this support line, which could be tested pretty soon, tomorrow, maybe Friday. I don't know if we're going to get through that fast. A lot of people, I think, are switching to this bear bias, like, right now. So I'm not really confident in being a bear, just expecting this to continue selling off. But I do think we should get lower. You got a gap right here. And this is that support region I think we need to test. See if buyers will hold it up here. So that's going to be around 386, 387, I guess. 388, 387 to that 383 area. So I think it's likely we get there, test support. We'll see if taking a quick look at the volume nodes, because we got rejected at that volume gap. I said we're not going to make it past this area. We can't. Like I explicitly said that we just can't do that. There's so many reasons to stop there. Go back to my past videos. I said you're at this volume gap, you're at that psychological 400, you got divergences. so many reasons, and that's what happened. So we're gonna see if we can hold up at this. Yeah, we really need to hold. This is gonna be a tricky area because you can see you got a volume gap here. So once you go into a volume gap, you usually just go right through it. So we could be coming back down to 383, 384, I guess. Yeah, we'll have to see how we interact with that volume gap once we start getting into that area. So that's where I'm going to leave this video. Just watch the whole thing through, show it some love, give it a like and subscribe, and peace out, guys.